Dude, that's the only way to play an early, like, 2000s game at 800 by 600 scaled to UHD. Then do super sampling and take it back down to 1080 and use a bilinear scale on it to get it down to 720p.
Yay!
I mean, you'll get a perceivable 0.0% change in image quality.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's Wednesday. We were talking about that exciting monstrosity that was Pedro's stream yesterday. It was retro. I'll give it that.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was the year 2000, literally.
Yeah.
See,
I liked all those games.
When you
from
say
that
year 2000, I think
Sierra.
like old Conan, like the year 2, then I immediately think Pentbot. True story. What's up, beautiful people? It is Wednesday. It is definitely
Yes.
time to talk about Linux and other stuff. A little bit.
Hi,
maybe.
Earth Aaron. Hi, Steve Husband. Hi, Patrick. Mayor PPC.
Left channel on your headphones. It could be tinnitus.
Do your headphones have a mute button?
Aw. Hello, brother Jack and nephew Evan. Yay. Glad you're watching.
I gotta button my shirt up so I'm not sexy. I was like, I just looked at myself. I was like, oh, what? All right, either button that shirt up or get a gold chain. Oh, yeah. Let's get everything together. We got a reasonably sized show for everyone this afternoon.
Yeah.
Or morning.
Yes.
Yeah, and now that Ubuntu is already backtracked on the whole 32-bit thing, there will be no more long-winded discussions, hopefully.
If it wasn't for that drama last week and the week before that, and we had to talk about it again on Saturday, I don't like it. I do very much no drama in my life. Initially was thinking about talking about the whole Pop OS and GNOME getting a slap fight earlier this week. And I was like, you know what? No.
Yeah, no.
I
They'll
mean,
work
they've
that
been
out.
doing that since the whole
Yeah.
Linux vendor firmware system.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, it makes for good reading, and it's just you're reading the comment section on that, like the tabloids. Like,
No, the comment
girl.
section is great. It's
Yeah.
GNOME fanboys versus Pop OS fanboys.
It's like just pounding each other verbally.
Yeah, I don't even know if Steve Husband has ever seen this shirt. This is another one from the 90s Linux shirt, and it's got a neat a Linux saying on the back.
And Steve's just like, nah, man, I'm accustomed to you buying stuff without telling me.
Yeah, no, this was before I met Steven. Aw, what mug today? Well, actually, it's a radio mug for a local station, KXLU 88.9 FM, that Steve and I were very involved with, and I did filled in for several hosts on that show, on the radio, on several shows, playing krautrock and classical music.
This is like something I would do to mess with the people. Definitely.
Yeah, I should show you the back of my. Maybe I'll show you the back of my shirt. It's
Oh,
cute.
yeah.
No, it's really cute. See, I don't know if you can.
Clothing requires appreciation of open source freedom. Okay.
Yeah.
I like my Top Gear shirt, and it says this shirt was tested on animals. It didn't
Yeah.
fit. I bought the I'm a Stick t-shirt. Immediately after that, I was like, yeah, along with everyone else who watches the show. I've never worn it.
I am this. Oh, that's a good one for you, Vin. I am the Stig.
I haven't done any fun driving in a while. I have a responsible 4-door car, so...
A saloon.
Yeah.
I'm still too poor to afford a car. Unless I want to buy a beater.
Listen, man, I'll take a couple of nights off eating steak.
We spend, what, like 30 pounds in shopping during the week? We don't actually spend a whole lot of money on anything, really. Most of it is just savings. Savings.
Saving money's good.
Most of it is rent, council tax, electricity, internet.
Yeah, you have a pretty outrageous council tax, man.
It's now that Nori has been officially recognized as a student, we had a bit of a discount, and instead of almost 160 pounds a month, we only pay 100. So that's pretty good.
Oh, that's nice.
Who's playing the Steam game? Wait, better question. Who knows how to play it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I gave up on that. I used up all my points. I redeemed. It's oh, you unlocked achievements, so you get points. Okay, give me the points. Oh, now you can use it to boost your team. It's like, okay, like everyone else on Steam, I'm Team Corgi, so boost Team Corgi. Okay,
you can
boosted
die in
as
a
much as
fire,
you
you horrible, horrible corgi. I'm Team Pig, yo.
Rest is on the list. Interesting.
I went down the checklist. Like the dumbest thing I had to like watch a stream, so I clicked on the stream. I was like, we're done with it. Is that clear with that? All right. Add things to your wish list. There's a bunch of stuff on my wish list right now that I don't really care about, by the way. So fair warning on that. Yeah, I clicked on things. I have no idea what I've done.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
click on things, and then you get points, and then you can get the badge. And then if you increase the level of the badge, you increase your Steam level, which Steam also nerfed that. We didn't cover that on the Saturday show, because it was after. But they also nerfed that because people realized that, oh, wait a second, I can basically increase my Steam level forever. And a lot of people went up to level like 2500 or level 5000.
You
Or
could be like the level 9 vegan. You don't need anything but cast a shadow.
And I admittedly I did that too. That's where I spent all my points. It's like, oh, I increased my Steam level. Okay, I'm level 60 something on Steam now. All right.
If you held a loaded gun to my head, it's like, what level are you on Steam? I just like pull the trigger, man. I don't know. Yeah, I did see like the take a pit stop, and it was like a collection of things that I don't care about.
There's like the one thing that will knock $5 or $10.
I clicked
or
that.
whatever. Yeah.
Then I
Off of your
bought
next
somebody
purchase.
something, and after that, I realized that it didn't give me a discount. I was like, whatever. I don't know how this works. Don't care. Whatever. I don't see anything. There's nothing I want to play. I'd like something to play.
I always wanted to like Monster Hunter. I tried the Monster Hunter, I think it was 3 that was on the PSP. And it's like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. This is stupid. I'm basically taking a big ass sword that's bigger than the dinosaur I'm trying to kill, and it's doing like single digits of damage. I'm done. No, sorry.
Same reason I can't play turn-based strategy, man. Miss. Nah. I did watch like an hour-long retrospective on like the original Witcher game and how that came together. That was fun in Discord yesterday. I was like, or was it the day before? Because Netflix, they're making a Witcher series, and they're like, yo,
Yeah.
here's a picture. And I'm like, hey, here's a picture. Like, it doesn't have 2 swords. This is rubbish. Rah. Then It's like, what? I know nothing about The Witcher. It's like, to the Googles, two swords. It was like 3 news articles, and they're like, oh yeah, they're basing it off the source material, the book,
Okay.
which was immediately followed by, like, who reads the book? It's in Polish. I'm like, man, all right. I wish I had that energy or conviction to be angry about something like that.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Let's see.
That's a pretty glowing recommendation.
You should try it.
Try it.
You know, within the refund window.
I'm that guy, man. I feel if I make a commitment, I gotta stick with it. I mean, it has to genuinely just not work. Dying Light. However, technically, I got the refund for Dying Light before they had the refund policy, so I don't even know if that counts. I was like, nah, give me my money back, man. I just gave you $60. This thing gets 40 frames a second at 1080p on a 980. This is back when the 980 was the fast card.
Yeah. Arthurian, that could very well be a possibility. I'll let you know.
You gotta run an 8x6 in a window, upside down.
Oh, that game actually works really well at UHD. After you cut everything else to 11 as well, which I was afraid to do, because, you know, oh, it's Proton, it might not work so well. Like, okay, I'm getting 100 FERPs, but the frame timing is horrible, and I can see the herky jerks. What the heck? Then you mentioned to disable the e-sync, and Atomic was like, yeah, just crank everything to 11. Oh, that's how you... Okay.
Yeah, I find that async causes more problems than it fixes. I always have it default off.
Yeah.
Then if the game runs like junk, then I'll cut it on. Be like, does that make any difference? Perceivable.
Yeah. I usually keep it off myself.
And the way that most distros come configured out of the box, keeping it off is the preferred solution because the open file limit is very small.
Yeah.
And eSync opens a file descriptor for every job that game is putting out. Which, if you're talking about a big AAA Windows game, is it's a crap ton of them. Like tens of thousands.
I will be right back. Gonna take a quick break before we get started.
Nope, we're starting right now.
Okay.
Is it sales? What is it?
Specials. Or special. That's what Arthur typed.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I have a very limited.
You're looking under the microphone arm.
So I'm looking like from the side, but I also have a small window that I'm capturing out of too.
Oh yeah, that's how I was playing it yesterday. I had the game in a corner, and I was playing it off the preview window because the preview was actually big enough for me to play.
The things we do for streams. Elder Scrolls Odyssey. Nope. I wouldn't mind playing Odyssey, but doesn't Odyssey require Origin? I have it on Origin, and it doesn't run very well.
Odyssey.
Yeah, the Stadia thing.
Oh, Assassin's Creed, right. No, you said Origin, it was throwing me off. Uplay, yes.
Uplay, something like that. Man, I don't know.
It's like,
On
wait
the
a second,
not
when did
Steam
Assassin's
launcher.
Creed go on Origin? It's like, did EA and Ubisoft start working together all of a sudden?
Yeah, man, it's thinking. They gave us, I think everyone who was in the Stadia beta, we just got copies of it.
It was limited to the US too, so.
And
Not in the US, is what I'm saying here.
hey, man, you know there's a way to fix that problem. I thought the game was all right. I mean, it's a dick around game.
Yeah.
No, that's what sandbox games are. I mean, ultimately.
Yeah.
You get bored, you try to find the big weapon, go on, like, just massive destruction. People like the Rust, man. Rust won't die. You gotta give them credit for that.
People like those kinds of games.
Mhm.
The survival thing that DayZ started. Like the DayZ mod for Arma 2, it's pretty good.
That's the, when you think about the, I mean, pixelated caveman Peni has held up over the years. I mean, it's still there. Other things have shown up and kind of went into the ether. And genre.
Although people were saying that, oh yeah, Rust is going to die now that Conan Exiles is out. It's like, yeah, Rust is still doing pretty good, and Conan is basically dead now.
Whatevs. I play Apex. Nope. Everybody played Apex for a minute, and
that's the thing. Apex is still holding on. It's sort of plateaued. It's not gaining any new players, but it still has a sizable amount of people playing it.
Isn't that from EA though?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just gonna spite kill it if it's not printing enough money.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But that pool game you played, that thing stayed online until 2007.
And then a fan patch made it work until at least 2014, because that's the last time I checked, and it was the servers were still online, and I can't find a more up-to-date patch for that. So, yeah, I think it may be dead now.
It's good to let it go. We need a. I wonder if the Java client-side Java compiled Java thing from Yahoo is available on the Wayback Machine. Get into that.
I remember Yahoo bought, I think it was the All-Seeing Eye. It was like a third-party thing that found all of the game servers. It's like, does your game have online multiplayer? Does it support dedicated servers? The All-Seeing Eye can find them. And if you had the game installed, yeah, it was basically like GameSpy, but a separate thing. So it's, that's how I found a couple of the Neverwinter Nights servers that I used to play on. And I think it was Soldier of Fortune 2, because in order to play with the local video store copy, you had to connect directly to a server, because if you tried to do it through the game, it would go through the authentication first. It's like, nope, that's not a proper thing, so you don't get to play online. So the All-Seeing Eye sort of worked around that.
He means enabled piracy.
Hey, it's not my fault that they only coded the piracy check if you're trying to connect via the game lobby. Because if you just pass the IP address directly to it, it would just go.
That's why I'm glad Steam's the thing. Piracy on Linux, especially on gaming, virtually has always been non-existent.
Yeah, because games tend not to work after a couple of kernel updates and video driver revisions.
It's just easier to buy it on Steam. Then you get Humble.
I have all of the DRM free copies I got from Humble and GOG. I have the installers. Where's my external hard drive? Oh, there it is. Right here. They're all here.
Why?
There's like 900 gigs of games there.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Nuclear fallout. Page is like, I've been waiting for this moment.
The internet goes out. Poop hits the proverbial fan. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a lot of storage here, man.
That's my 1 terabyte external hard drive. That I replaced the hard drive that was in there. It was originally a 500 gig, but it got a bed sector, and it was right at the start of the drive. So it's like, okay, we're pulling everything out, and we're getting rid of the that particular hard drive and putting a new one in.
I'm SSDs now, baby.
Yeah,
They're too cheap not to buy them now.
Yeah, if I had done that like this week, I would have totally bought a 1 terabyte SSD because
$100, right?
Yeah.
the same 1 terabyte Crucial MX 500 that I have for my Steam drive, it was 140 something pounds
Yeah.
a while back. Now it's like 98 or 97 pounds. All right, okay.
And that's kind of the thing you want to say is, you know, it's like Crucial or Kingston or Samsung. It's not like Chubby Dove.
Yeah, exactly. They're the good brands.
Also, the Vengeance RAM kit that I use in all my Ryzens. That's barely $50 right now for 16 gig kit. I mean, it's a time to buy it because that's going back up.
The Nori now has 16 gigs on her on her PC because look, Vengeance LBX 3200 is like 60 pounds. Yoing.
What's the game plan here, Joe? Are you worried that the feet aren't being equally represented in your shot?
No, just OCDing on it.
OCD. I'm rubbish at that. Maybe alignment. Maybe I'll lose
My turn to be.
alignment.
I'll be back.
I'm aligning the feet on the penguin.
All right. I can keep things. That's the closest I can come to. Like, I get it. You know, I want stuff like sectioned off, but I could also let it slide for a while too. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Which I will. See, that's my life hack. I don't have any prints on my shirts.
Yes.
Just gotta make sure I put it on facing the right direction. Berries. I don't know. We got to get done with this so I can watch that hour-long documentary about ASMR eating Reese's cups because that's really cool.
So that was hilarious. You tweeted it out right when I took a bite of a Reese's miniatures.
I
have
didn't
a
know
bag
what
of them.
I didn't know what to say back to that, Jill. I was like, yeah, of course you're eating junk food. I mean, that's like... What?
I was having a snack.
You eating junk food does not surprise me. I was like, yeah, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just like, I feel you. All right.
Yeah. I need a little sugar after my lunch. So.
I'm just not down with the processed food.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Are you finally going to get the gown you've always wanted? I can't read it. All right. I guess it's my turn. Then we're going to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or do you want to do another round? Or
I'm good.
see how long we can keep the train rolling?
Yeah. I'm sure my bladder will be aching by the time we're done, but
Oh, mine
what
is.
else new?
Mine is.
Aww.
Telling you kids, learn to cross your legs.
Oh.
Unicorn.
When you're female, that doesn't always work.
Hey man, what I was talking about earlier, it's the effort.
Yeah, it's the
It's not
effort.
the end result. It's like, but you tried. Unicorn meat. That reminds me of Think Geeks. Think
Yeah.
Geek is closing all of their retail things.
Yeah.
They're having like a liquidation sale.
So sad.
Sucks.
They were one of the first companies to have Linux shirts. I've worn some of them on the show from the early 2000s.
I have some Think Geek penguin ties, and I probably
Yeah.
purchased in excess of 70 Annoyatron.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I purchased a lot of things on
That
there
was,
for my brother and my nephew and Steven. And God, that was the place to go back in the day for all your geeky supplies.
And then this perky little bookstore goes out of its way to become the single most prominent worldwide marketplace. Amazon has everything, and the stuff that Amazon doesn't have, you go on
eBay.
Chinese sites that like
Yeah.
Deals Extreme, eBay, because most
Yeah.
of the sellers there are Chinese anyway. So
Well, ThinkGeek is on Amazon. They have an Amazon store as well. That's where I've
Yeah.
gotten most of their stuff recently. So it makes sense that they would close their main website because they're heavy on Amazon. I saw an article for it, but I haven't read it. Are they actually going out of business or just
I have
deprecating
no
them?
idea.
Yeah. I saw a tweet and I haven't read it yet.
ThinkGeek was always one of those things that in Portugal, like, oh, I'd really like to have that. Oh, you don't ship here.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. That was a thing.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And every now and then you'd see someone who would actually ship something that came from ThinkGeek to Portugal, and they'd basically double the price. It's like, no.
Mm.
In fact, last time I went to Portugal, I saw that same Nerf gun that I have that cost me like £10 on Amazon for 30 euros. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's not no.
Yeah. Oh. A lot easier now for you to get things in England. So
Yeah,
that's
as
great.
it turns out.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Amazon UK is based. They have a distribution point in like one in Peterborough and another one in Milton Keynes.
Oh, good.
Oh,
They're close
okay.
to you. Yeah.
And IKEA is in Milton Keynes. It's like really stupid close. It's like, oh, what's that? You want to get IKEA delivered? That's a £5 delivery fee.
Yeah.
Just get
Good.
here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think whether or not I own any IKEA stuff still before I give you any static for buying stuff from IKEA.
We're going to be here for another 2 years, so yeah, IKEA stuff. It works.
It's temporary. Just don't move it. I've been in that situation helping somebody move. I'm like, sweetheart, just let that one go. Because by the time
Yeah.
we get that on the truck and back, you're going to be having to like hold it together.
You see that chair right there?
Nope.
That's £10.
There's no chair there, Pedro.
It's like, oh, £10, and I can sit on it. I can even, kind of sort of sit really uncomfortably on it. It's like, there we go. And it'll hold my 90 kilos, so it's good.
All right. Let's do a show, everyone.
Okay.
We'll get this together. We have a 3.
Mm.
All right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Select board play. Maybe. All right, that looks good. Start recording. Remind me in the after show, Pedro. There's some things I want to try with you.
Okay.
All right, Jill, are you ready?
Yes.
You gonna leave that shirt alone?
Yes.
I was going to suggest you not, but you do what you need to do.
There we go, then.
And welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, when we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, and just talk about some of the things we found interesting going on in the world of open source. I am Vin. That's Jill. And that's Pedro. Also, that's Jill's shirt. She's going to tell you about it in a minute. All of you lovely people showing up, joining us live. It's kind of fun. Something to do in the middle of the week, just kind of like, hey, we find anything cool? And we did. We did this week. Pedro, what's going on with you, buddy?
Aww.
Well, over here, I got Nari a new phone. It's a OnePlus 3. Basically, Nathan got himself a new phone. It's like, so do you want to buy this? Like, yeah, I'll buy it. And then Nori's like, freaking hate my phone. It's slow. It's like, okay, you have it. So yeah, Nori's got a really nice new phone, and she was about to like put her SIM on. It's like, oh crap, what? My SIM? It's a micro SIM, and it needs a nano SIM.
Oh.
Really?
It's happened to me, yeah.
So now we're waiting for Nori's SIM to be sent from Portugal to here so she can start using her new phone.
Why didn't you go to the phone shop where they had a SIM cutter and go and put it in?
Because her SIM still has the stupidly large metal chip thing in the middle.
Listen, at no point did I qualify that, and it would still work. I just said, why didn't you?
Yeah, no, it needs to be replaced. It's really old. So yeah, she's gonna be waiting till middle of next week. Most likely that's when it gets here. So yeah.
Right on. What's new with you, Jelly Bean?
Aww. We finally had our summer Linux Gamecast party last Saturday during the show, of course, at Matthew's house. Yay!
Of course, during the show. I mean,
yes, of course. It was an LG
for
Linux
a long
Gamecast.
time. I'm like, why do you do this on Tuesdays? It doesn't make any sense.
No. So that was a lot of fun. Patrick was there, Jelly Bean was there, and Steve Husband, and Linux Chicks, and we had a really great time. And Alan. Yeah, it was nice. We'd been wanting to do one, and it'd been hard to coordinate because we're all busy doing with our lives, but it was nice to have another one again.
All right.
Hey, man, I know you dig the community aspect of it. Everybody else is like, right,
Yes.
let's go drink. And Matthew was like, earlier in the day in Discord, he's like, I got a shower.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be people coming over. All right. Fine.
Yeah.
Been having a fun time over here. Been finishing the migration of our web zone over to more powerful hardware with better storage, which we already had the storage thing taken care of. It's a long story. Past 3 weeks have been interesting. If you want to see the benefits of it, I think maybe like on your end, if you don't notice anything's changed, I've done the work correctly. It's one of those things. Do a search in like our legacy forums. See how quick that comes up now. But some stuff in the future. Then, of course, Cloudflare. Yesterday, when I was finalizing everything, it's like, you know what? What? Fire.
Fire.
That was fun. I'm just glad it's over with and everything seems to be syncing up. I'm tracking down. If you notice anything that was broken, not anything that's like, oh yeah, it's been broken for years, let me know. And if you're listening to me, everything's working because it went over your podcast catcher and everything is nice, happy, and fun.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
That's enough playing around. Let's get into the bits and bobs. See what I did there? I read the top of the page.
Yes,
the
you
bits
did.
and the bobs from the GNOME blog, and this one is more targeted at people looking to work for Canonical or to work in the Ubuntu distro ecosystem. And Lainey has posted this. It's a small post. If you are interested in maybe working as a software engineer for Canonical, you can just click through the link and it'll take you to the job description. It's par for the course, I guess I would say. It's if if in previous weeks, these previous weeks have been any indication, they're probably not interested in hiring you if what you want to do is make Ubuntu the best gaming distro out there. They clearly don't want that. And since this comes from the GNOME blog, you may also want to consider the desktop environment that you prefer, and what exactly it is that you would like to do if you ended up working on GNOME for Ubuntu. Just saying.
No, definitely not bad, man. I mean, I was like, oh boy, I just gave Pedro a swipe sandwich. And it's like, he's not going to be able to resist taking a swipe at Canonical. And we're going to throw GNOME on top of it. And he's like, oh.
I thought I did pretty good.
You did all right. You're getting better. we're making progress.
I mean, I could.
Bitches are sitting over there like, do you know how much I just left out? I
have
feels,
ammunition.
Oh,
that's pretty interesting. One of the things that
yeah.
caught me off guard was, not really off guard, maybe, I guess that's still a thing, but in like 2019, and it's like, you need to have a degree in a related field. It's like the related field of Linux desktop engineering. Okay.
Yeah.
What is that? Animal husbandry? Or
Might as well be. I mean, they do say that you will be working with the community a lot, so yeah, maybe animal handling is a very, very good skill to have.
I mean, it looks like it could be a good fit if you're interested in snaps, gnomes, and travel. They make a point of that, and they're like, we're going to ship you around a little bit. And hey,
Yeah.
I dig what Canonical's doing on the desktop. You know, they're doing their own thing, but at least it's a thing. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
something.
anything to make GNOME's performance better and better, and they're putting a lot of effort into that, of course, as their default window manager, and so that's always a good thing. They're giving to the community.
Right on, right on. Well,
So speaking of the best desktop manager,
you mean the only
Desktop manager.
Oh, are you kidding me? This is great news, everyone. Honestly, I don't know why I'm surprised, but this is XFCE 414 Pre2. It's out, and it's on time. They even made a point of it, like, told you we were going to release it on time. And I was like, well, good on you, lot. Fair enough.
Yay.
Couple of highlights. The XFCE panel's been updated, fixing some color things. XFWM4, they've added some HDMI theming, and GLX backend's been tweaked a bit. The big one that bugged me was Thunar, because I use Thunar as my FTP client. I'm like, what do you mean? Never thought to initially check that, but it was putting everything in read-only. So immediately I'm like logged into our host checking permissions. I'm like, what happened? This was mad hacks on our site. And no, it was this. And a couple of other things. But I mean, if you want to test that, you can. Don't do what I did when Pre-1 rolled out a few days later. And he's like, you know what? I need to give that a shot, even though this is a production box. I need to preach what I practice. And it's like, where do I get this? Is there a copy repo for this? What is it? What? Oh, I'm already running it. Okay, never mind. Shut up.
Yeah.
Fedora.
That's why those buttons look different. Understood.
Yeah,
well,
no. One of the things you brought up was that they're working on improving the GLX Compositor.
Mm-hmm.
Good,
Yeah.
really, really good. I really do hope that that GLX Compositor doesn't pull a K-Win level of bad. I really hope not, because we've all seen how terrible some compositors handle GLX contexts. Okay, win.
Mhm.
So yeah, I really do hope XFC at least has that going for them.
I try to love it. I'm waiting for it to get better than Compton. It's got to pass the
Yeah, Compton is still
yes.
pretty good.
it's got to pass the terminal draggy test. And open up HStop on one monitor, open up terminal, and spin it right round, baby. And I take a look at what our CPU versus GPU usage is. Compton still beats it right now. And the only thing I like about Compton is great until you have to drag a window or another window. Then
Oh yeah.
Or drag a Chrome tab out of Chrome or back into Chrome.
that's just adding hard mode on top of an already hot mess.
You have to really play around with the VSync and whatnot.
Yeah, they also fixed several bugs in the XFCE4 settings, in the settings manager, the color dialog, and in the display dialog, whose settings were not retained across sessions. That was a real annoyance for a lot of us. Actually, it was so annoying to set up all my displays, and then sometimes it would just you reboot and wouldn't keep the settings. So that was awesome.
One thing I'm curious to see if it gets fixed. I know this bugs myself and Jordan. We got a bunch of monitors, all right? Once you start dealing with that UHD lifestyle, you can end up with 2, then 3, and it's going to get nasty. If the power goes out to one monitor, if you cut it off,
Oh,
the desktop has a schism. This happens.
yes.
Like normally with our UPS system, like I would have the primary display on that and the rest just no. All these monitors have to be battery backup because it would hose the show if one of them got cut off. I hope that gets fixed. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Also, they do point out that if this is good enough, it's just going to ship. They might skip pre-3. I'm like, yeah, if this is already an RC, it's going to go out. Which I think they did an excellent job. I know a lot of people will not agree. I think they did an excellent job because I didn't even notice anything changed. So good.
Yeah.
Good. I don't have to learn new things. It's brilliant. But I'm looking forward to the HDMI and the color work so I can set color calibration on individual monitors. That would be fun.
Definitely.
Because once
You
you get
can
a
already
really...
do that with the NVIDIA drivers.
You can. Now, here's the thing, Pedro. You get 2 flavors of that. You get the root version, then you get the user version.
You set up you set it up with the root version, and then you set persistence to pick up on that.
And sometimes that works.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah.
If you have a monitor with a decided red shift, you notice it don't always work. And you're like, what? Because this one has too much red in it,
yeah.
and this long cat monitor's long is too bright. Even like, and so I noticed that. I'm like, go away. All right. So desktops, Wayland, they are determined to make it a thing. 100%. Network transparency. This has been a problem in Wayland. We don't know about that. You couldn't, launch something over, you do X11 forwarding, like what I'm doing right now with Auto Ardor. I got to learn to say it right. From Jackbox, I'm pulling all the GUI and all the front end. This is something X has been able to do since time immemorial. But this is now being added to Wayland. There's a project. It's called Waypipe. And it's a proxy for Wayland clients. I mean, it does the forwarding, but for Wayland. And, here's what I'm digging about it, is it's not going to be so bandwidth intensive. Is Jill, you had a mention of, hey, man, be quiet. This isn't cool. X can do that. It just sucks at it.
Yeah, it's very slow. It can be very slow and cumbersome, even on fast networks, and it depends on the application you're trying to use as well. And as Jordan points out, it's very slow in VMs, and of course on Wi-Fi. But that's a no-brainer. So
you see, like a normal person, I repurposed enterprise 10 gig NICs.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're using like 300 megabytes a second to render a window?
Way more than that, sweetheart.
Yeah.
If you have like a couple of the open, like the plugins that we use, if you go back and watch those videos, have like OpenGL visualizers on them. You get 6 or 7 of those. Yeah, you're slinging 600 megs easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the having that seamless integration, if you're like forwarding X through SSH, it's always bit of a unicorn to accomplish. You could do it even in X. You could do it and have it work relatively well if you were on the same network. And if you're running the exact same desktop environment on the local box as you are on the remote one, if you're running the
Yeah.
exact same compositor, if you're running the exact same theme, basically you had to have everything closely mirrored as much as possible for it to not look like it came, I don't know, straight out of 1995. Because if you are, say, remoting into a KDE box from a GNOME box
I would
and
throw
you open
you
up
out
a
of
window,
a window. I'm like, you're opening an application across the world remotely with GUI, and your first thought is, "What's not pretty?" Out the window you go.
No, but that's the thing. If you like, this box is running KDE. If I try to remote with X forwarding onto one of the laptops, and that laptop happens to be running something GTK,
Mhm.
the two, they don't gel. So when that window shows up on this monitor, it's like, okay, that I haven't seen that theme since Windows 98. So okay.
I just needed to launch, man, and using something that's graphically
Yes.
intensive as Azure. I said it on this show. I was like, okay, that's just going to work. I'm not going to have to do any battles with that.
But yeah, in the case of like Ardour and other bits of software that have their own rendering thing going on, and they render their own windows and they don't rely on GTK or Qt on the system level, those work just fine.
Yeah.
Those work great.
I'm happy with it. Fair warning, this is a prototype, so I really want to play with Wayland. I really do.
Yeah.
A bunch of things are holding me back, 100%. We got this. I'm getting excited about it because, Jack is getting tied into Pipewire.
Yes.
Red Hat's doing some awesome work with that. So all we need
Yay.
now is Intel discrete GPUs with like proper video encoders on them. And
Yes.
like in 10 years, we'll replace X, right?
10
No.
years, yeah.
No.
I'm hoping sooner than that.
Okay, 10 years until we'll say, all right, just 10 more years, we'll have it done.
Okay. In 10
Okay.
years, we'll say, all right, in 10 years, it'll be done. Sure.
Yeah, perpetual, man, like battery technology. I want to play with it. As soon as Pipewire's in workable state, one of these boxes is going to lose their 1804 LTS status, and I don't know if I'm going to silver blue it. I don't know how brave I feel like, but
Right.
once the Pipewire, because the RTC for the camera capture, it's going to be an experiment. This is after the Pi experiment, though, so that's going to be a thing. What else do we have coming up next?
Aw, well, this is actually really cool. On June 29th, the FreeDOS project turned 25 years old. Yay! And this was always been one of my favorite versions of DOS, and I heavily used it to render in 3D Studio Release 4 for DOS and Autodesk Animator in the 90s. I used FreeDOS heavily. I liked it a lot better than MS-DOS and Dr. DOS. And, I remember being so impressed with the multitasking features in FreeDOS, like being able to print and format a floppy disk while doing other tasks. That was moon magic, back in the DOS days. And I used to be able to render animation and do those tasks. And what the other cool thing is, it was very easy to connect to the internet and had a TCP IP networking stack, unlike DOS, where the networking drivers were hard to install and wouldn't work with every Ethernet card. And I actually remember using Arachne and the Lynx, Lynx and LINKS web browsers with FreeDOS, which of course are Linux based. And it's really, really there's a really good article that Jim Hall wrote, the creator of FreeDOS, at the Linux Journal about FreeDOS's history and its Linux roots, and how many apps from Linux have been brought over, such as Gawk, grep, and Man. And those tools were indispensable for those of us running DOS programs. I was really, really happy with that.
And that's actually one of the things he brings up in the article is they're looking to bring more or port more Linux command line tools to FreeDOS. And
Definitely.
that's good. That's very good. Or at least I think it is, because my one experience with FreeDOS is with one of those MSI laptops which came with the no OS option.
Yeah.
That was my experience with FreeDOS, because one of my friends bought it. It's like, what the heck is this?
That's
Oh,
a pretty
yeah.
good read
FreeDOS.
going into the roots, Linuxy roots with FreeDOS.
Yeah.
And I had to think, I was like, have I ever directly, like, I don't think I've ever intentionally installed FreeDOS for anything. I'm not knocking it. I've just never had a use case for it. But I know we've used it because it's been bundled with games.
Yeah.
And I
A lot of recovery
100%
tools.
positive. I had a Dell laptop that I bought. I think the company I was working for at the time bought it. But because it was a principal thing to dig around, because there was some bizarre configuration option where you could get it with FreeDOS instead of Windows. It wasn't even about the money. It was the principle.
Yeah. Oh, and like Mr. Alert says in chat, one of my favorite web browsers, Dillo, was ported to DOS, and actually FreeDOS. That they did a lot of development on that. That was really, really cool. And I used to use MPlayer, just so many tools that I loved from Linux I could use in DOS, and I love that. And what's really neat is Jim Hall, you have like the same background I do. You know, I started with Linux back in '93, and I dual booted, DOS and Linux, and because I was doing animation, and most of those applications at the time were DOS based and Unix based. So that was just that's really cool. I was really impressed with your
Does
article.
LS work in FreeDOS?
No, dir. So,
Because
but it
LS
is.
works in CMD nowadays.
Yeah, I'm. You know what? I need to. It's been a while since
Jill
I've
may
ran
be working
FreeDOS.
on out-of-date information.
Yeah, no, I haven't ran the new version of it. So,
I haven't ran the new version ever, and I don't plan to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only found out that
But-
LS works in CMD because I work with
Right,
Windows,
muscle
unfortunately.
memory, right? You're like, oh, command
And
not
yeah,
found.
it's like, okay, I need to figure this out. LS, it's like, oh, wait a second, that worked. Huh.
The only thing I remember from
Yeah.
DOS was dir, P, and W for page and wide. So I didn't have to scroll like a terror. I was like, what was that one thing I needed? Anyway.
Yep.
Hey man, flock seagulls, eat it. We have a flock party,
So-
all our own, and they're discounted flocks, budget flocks.
System 76, they're having a bit of a summer sale of their own. As Ven mentioned, it's the summer flock party. And you can save a reasonable amount on some of the laptops that they have on offer, which is very, very nice to see. And some of the desktops as well. Just having Linux systems. Yeah, no.
All right, hang on. We gotta play a game. Higher or lower? Laptop, backpack, $100. Let's get your bets. Joe?
Higher.
Higher?
Lower.
Lower. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, 125.
Okay, so hold on. You see, this Dell backpack right here, which is currently holding the Precision with the Xeon processor, is like 15 pounds.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Listen, man, that backpack has cut grooves at it that only work with one mother back.
That's an official Dell backpack. Just saying.
Whatever, scrub, System 76.
But yeah, System 76, they do have some sales, and stupidly overpriced backpacks aside, seeing some really nice discounts on Linux hardware is always a good thing.
You know
now,
what?
to be
I'm going
fair,
to go ahead and throw this in, to be fair. Handmade in San Francisco by one person.
oh, okay, you're paying the SF price. Okay. all right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, they're actually really
it's
beautifully made.
Artesian.
Yeah.
It's a boutique thing. I get it. No.
Oh, I want one.
Would you want one for $125?
Yeah. Well, I got to check them out at scale. They're pretty.
That's not what I asked. Not even remotely.
What Ven's asking there, Jill, is do you want to pay 125
25?
wet sticky caches for a
Probably
backpack?
not. Probably
Okay, just
not.
There we
in
go.
case anybody was under the illusion that this was a hidden commercial. That should have flushed.
No. And to be fair, I actually went to Enterware's website and Tuxedo's website. So it's like, okay, do you guys have anything going on that I can include with this?
Mhm.
No. Okay. All right. Cool.
You know, at the end of the day, I mean, we've always said with System 76, now, it is more boutique. They're able to, they've got their own manufacturing system. And while I radically disagree what they did with the Thelio cutting the motherboard things in the back, it's like, wow, okay, don't ever buy that. You get support. And that is very important to have, especially if you're the type of person that buys pre-built, or if you're a company and you need to buy something and you're not ready, you're buying desktops, like low-end medium workstations. You're not ready to cut the eye-bleeding checks to Dell or somebody to get like full-on Red Hat licensed stuff. System 76 is a good place to get hold of, and they do a lot for the community, especially we saw with, Canonical going YOLO, which I was like, do it. Because I'm a bit of an anarchist. It's like, but this needs to be done. You were the chosen one. But Pop was like, man, if we got to maintain, multi-live ourselves, we'll do it. We got you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that was really cool for 32-bit. Awesome.
Keep that in mind. All right. React, don't do it. Some 80s song. I don't know the rest of the words to it.
Well, it's React OS, and they decided. Well, they didn't decide anything. One of the current lead developers at Microsoft decided, you know what? Let's rehash that thing I said a few years back and claim.
7 years ago.
And claim that React OS is very much lifting entire portions of the Windows research kernel wholesale. And, after reading through the article and him saying it's like, yeah, they're using the exact same variable names, they're using the exact same arguments, they're using the exact same structure for a lot of the code.
Kind of sold me as like, let me show you some hacks I did way back when.
Yeah.
You would not be front facing. And they're like, look, it does the same thing.
Yeah, and it's he makes a very good point, and reading through all of that, it certainly explains how React OS got to the level of Windows compatibility that it has right now without basically creating Wine OS. Because Wine would probably be able to do it, but they'd have to build an entire operating system around Wine to have this kind of compatibility if they didn't have some manner of access to the code.
And, hey, man, this is straight accusations. I will say, after reading through this, and especially when it was in that detail, it's like myth plausible. Also, as much as we're going to be having a Microsoft Loves Linux segment coming up, and let's go ahead and start. Litigious comes to mind.
Yes.
So if this has legitimately been a provable issue that was a thing, I think Redmond would have already broken out the low orbit ion cannons.
And like Mr. Alert is saying, they React OS did do when the first accusations that they were lifting code wholesale out of it came out. They did an internal audit, and
they did an audit, and they're like, "Oh, if the things that we saw, we were going to rewrite it." So I didn't know Microsoft had released an educational open source version of their kernel. It's like, you poor things.
No one wants that,
Apparently
Microsoft. You don't want that, clearly.
Yeah.
I do. Not really. Joe.
And like Alan was saying, Alan actually, Mr. Alert in chat, it was 2006 to be exact. And I remember hearing about this on another tech podcast. And I think it actually was the Linux Action Show. And that claim led to a statement and an internal audit by the React OS team. So they've been used to dealing with this, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a thing.
This has been mentioned before. This is just a new update on it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
it's
want-
no new information. It's still the same person claiming the exact same thing. He makes
Yeah.
good arguments, but fact of the matter is nothing has happened yet. So
that's that.
Mhm.
Hopefully it was a TIL for someone. So okay. Oh, all right. Hang on.
Oh, yes.
Hey,
Here we
Microsoft
go.
loves Linux.
Hang on.
Yes, here we go.
We need theme music. Dun, dun, dun. There we go.
There we go.
Microsoft loves Linux. Yay, the segment. Starting off.
Yeah. So Linux dominates Azure. Yes. So last October, we talked about that half of Microsoft's Azure virtual machines were running Linux. Now the Linux usage on their cloud has surpassed Windows Server. Yay! And, of course, we all knew that was going to happen. And it's no surprise. And actually is one of the reasons why Microsoft wants to join the official Linux distros mailing list, which will be in our next story. But yeah, Ven talks about here how, of course, Linux and BSD has dominated the server space since people started tracking it. So this is just no surprise at all, but it's very exciting. I mean, this is a Microsoft product and, Linux is dominant in that space. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I don't know, man. I didn't. We've all known this. Linux has dominated BSD and Linux since this has been tracked since the long, long ago.
Mhm.
And yeah, Microsoft, they've rolled out and they're like, hey, we got our own thing now. Amazon bad, Azure good. And like, well, we're going to use what we know works. And I deep in my heart, I want to believe, like in the future, one day, Microsoft will release something ready for the enterprise. But until then, you keep trying, little buddy.
Yes. You keep
Until
trying.
then, they keep holding organizations or the users in those organizations by the genitalia because, well, that's what people know. That's how they keep the market. They're basically keeping everyone hostage. It's like, but it's Windows. Windows. Pay us for it. And yeah, no, as someone who has to deal with that at work, I'm really
Yeah.
done with it.
Welcome
But
to the
yeah,
real
Azure,
world.
all things considered, it's not the worst implementation I've seen of when it comes to a web services type of platform. WordPress. Their free one. The
Those
free
are
one that
fighting
they offer
words.
you.
You say WordPress,
No,
I'm
no,
like,
I'm-
that's cute. I used to maintain Drupal, headless.
Drupal.
Joomla is also pretty bad. But yeah, it's the Amazon free one is really bad. If you deploy it yourself and you do a couple of changes, it's actually very, very nice to work with.
Life-changing revelation from one page. If you do something without knowing what you're doing, equals bad.
Yes. But yeah, no, Azure, it works. It can be really slow unless whatever site or whatever deployment you have going on there starts getting a lot of hits. That's when it does the Kubernetes thing and it spools up more instances and gives that virtual environment more resources if it's getting more hits. But if it's just you, it's slow. It is
Yes.
slow.
All right. So, is that...
And since Jill already hit it at it, let's talk about why Microsoft would like to join the Linux-distros mailing list.
They just want to be friends, man. Linux is awesome
yeah.
now. It's making us money.
Totally.
Yes.
So earlier in the week, the Linux Foundation and a couple of other high-profile Linux organizations decided to share the fact that Microsoft is very keen on being a part of the Linux-distros mailing list. And if you're just going by the name, it's like, so what's so special about that? Well, that is the mailing list where all the Linux distros get together and they share like patches, upcoming patches for security
that sounds like a bit of
vulnerabilities.
a private joint, right?
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit, but it makes sense when you learn that it's Yeah, it's where they discuss all of the up-and-coming patches for security vulnerabilities. That's where all of the Spectre and Meltdown stuff was being handled before it came out. That's where all of the zero-day exploits that haven't been, made public yet are discussed, and where mitigations are discussed, and a lot of development tends to happen there. So that sounds very well and good for a company that is investing heavily in Linux and has a vested interest in Linux, especially given the previous story. So it makes sense that Microsoft would want to join. However,
well, I can understand the point. Man. They want early access to security alerts on Linux, which we just got done talking about. That's the majority.
If we are to take the whole embrace, expand, or extend, extinguish thing...
Where did you get a time machine?
No, if we are to take that particular view when we approach this particular situation, this is giving Microsoft the tools to enact the extinguish part. It's like, oh, this is where all the holes are. Okay, let's start poking at them.
Oh. Aw. Well, like Pedro was saying, this does make sense, especially since Microsoft, is developing their Azure Sphere OS and their Windows subsystem for Linux version 2. And, there's some other people on this list a lot of the Linux community hadn't cared too much about, including Oracle.
Oracle loves Linux.
Yes.
They just don't like Google very much.
Yes.
Oracle's understand. I wonder if SCO's ever been on there.
Yeah. Yes.
They probably were at some point.
I don't know, man. I mean, I get it. I understand it. I think the biggest issue that everyone on that list is worried about Microsoft having access. They're like, oh, they're going to see all the smack we talk about Microsoft.
I'm sure there is a lot of concern about that. It's like, oh yeah, years of Microsoft bad-mouthing, and they're just going to come in and read all of it.
Oh,
to be fair, Microsoft brought that on themselves.
Yeah, right.
Hi, Steve Ballmer.
Yes. Yes.
He's too busy playing basketball or whatever he does. He's chasing developers.
Developers.
It's like, Steve Irwin. They make that one. The developer hunter, no crocodile hunter. Just Steve. We'll just put him in the middle of like Angel Springs in Australia, and he's gone. Give like 10 minutes. Beautiful people. We don't think before we get into the slice of pie, everyone supporting this show. It is a weird experiment that we're doing, where it's freeware. We just give everything out for free. Like, hey man, if you like it, you get some value with it. Could you spare 4 quarters or a few shekels a week? And a lot of you do. And that's really awesome. In fact, 115 beautiful party patrons.
Oh, yeah.
That we
Yay! Woo!
using patreon.com. It's the best way for us to keep track and make sure you get in our Discord and all the cool little events we do and stuff like that. Not just this show. It's streams we do on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the big show we do on Saturdays. That's why we're not like, hey, we were talking about System 76 because we like them, not because they were writing a check to us. More importantly, we weren't like, I think that's important to point out. Like, no, they're great. Can't do no wrong. Check clear? All right. Yeah. Awesome. We don't have to worry about
that bad now.
No, don't say anything bad. Listen, if we ever start saying like really positive things about Microsoft, we're getting paid off. So watch out.
Yeah.
I think if Microsoft decided to pay us off, they probably would know better.
if Pedro shows up and he's like, man, Gnome's awesome. That just one thing in the back of my mind's like, Nori's missing. All right. It could be a thing, but thanks everybody. We do have some new things this week. What's going down with that, Joe?
Yeah. So I'm very excited. Nemo, or DeCresney in chat increased his pledge. Thank you, Nemo. Awesome. And he's contributed so much to LGC over the years. And he's just an awesome person, and we love him.
Pedro, you gotta get. He increased his pledge, so he deserves a half fact, a half truth about that.
A half truth. Well, Nemo is
Mhm.
On the internet most of the time.
He's got a System 76 laptop back.
He does have that System 76 backpack as he posted on Discord, so
Yes.
he clearly has some questionable tastes.
Hang on, no, we gotta do
You
this.
guys.
It's a half truth. That he won in hand-to-hand combat against Richard Stallman.
That's just a straight up lie, though.
Well, Pedro, the problem is we've all seen your taste and it's rubbish.
Look, my taste is not being called into question right now, okay?
Yes, it is. I just did. Pay attention. I mean, at least you're not wearing a yellow shirt, but do it, man. I mean, yeah.
I'd say you were throwing shade, but that is a very bright yellow, so.
Oh, my vintage Linux shirt from the 90s.
Vintage from the 90s, baby. It's like Soundgarden. I listened to some vintage Soundgarden the other night.
Oh, what was one of the first Linux shirts?
Beautiful people. Thanks again for making this possible. If you are curious,
Hold on. There was one thing.
Oh, I thought you were just going to skip over it.
No.
Yes.
Mr. Mike G has decided he wants to basically buy us all the things. And so he sent me a gift from my wish list. It was your guest appearance on another Linux podcast that led me to this train wreck. Thanks for everything you do. From Mike G.
You've been cheating on me, bro?
Oh.
And Mike G got me a Corsair M55 Rgb Pro, which I had added like 2 days prior to him buying it to the wish list because, that's going to be an ambidextrous mouse. It looks the same, so it doesn't have that
No, it looks the same as a shirt.
Yes.
Who wore it better?
But it's got the ambidextrous design, and on top of that, there's one thing that from the hand feel that I got of it earlier, it's tall, it's bulky. I can palm it, and my hand doesn't hit the desk. So
That's
that's
so nice.
really, really nice. So yeah,
Kudos.
kudos. Thank you very much,
thank you, Mike
G.
G.
It's
Love you.
it will be played around heavily over the coming weeks.
I was about to say, Joe, you better get some formation in that goatsy. Bring it in. At least it doesn't look like a spaceship. It has that going for it.
Yes, and it does have the RGBs. It's got like the Corsair logo at the back, which
You just lost
does
all
light
my
up.
love for it.
Yeah.
No.
And the little stupid LED here. It
No,
also does RGB.
no, the people at home, they're genuinely worried. Not worried, wondering, what's it taste like?
Look at Pedro.
Solid plastic.
Styrene.
Irene. We'll have to add that to our this thing that we have. If you're curious about everything in the studio, we'll put that in where will we put it? The PC? Is that where we put the mouse stuff?
Yes, but not yet because the
we'll put it in
Corsair CKB Next, which is the unofficial Corsair software for Linux, it doesn't support that particular version yet. But I've already submitted the report that they want when you ask for new equipment to be supported. So I'm guessing in a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks,
It's already closed.
it'll be done.
No.
Probably.
High steam. More about that on Saturday.
Yeah.
We do maintain that list on our website. Stuff that Pedro has, everything I have in the studio, stuff that Jordan has. If you're like, we're not even worried, if you're like, okay, you know it works on Linux before it ends up on that list. You know, that's what I say. Vin tested, FSM approved. And we have a thing about stuff that we're planning on getting. So if you want to see how we're going to spend our billions of dollars, that's also a thing. Merch. We have shirts.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We have
Yay.
LWDW shirts if, say, you like this particular show. What we're doing
Nope.
right now.
Can't stand it. I'm going to get one with a skeleton.
Oh.
Yeah, you can totally get the Francophile
I'm going
shirt.
to cover
you can
my
get
cat in chairs.
Yeah.
You can cover your dog in some sort of male-looking logos with stickers. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell, Elks hoodies.
You're
And
gonna
we
get
need.
a promotion to our advertising department, Pedro. That's
I tried, man. I did.
you do. You do. Big swings. Big swings. Yeah, we do have some hoodies and a bunch of fun stuff. I own one of each, except for the one with my face on it. Not happening.
Yeah.
I think I'll have to get Pedro too. I'll get Nori one. I have Nori would wear it.
Mhm.
Oh, Nori, she says she wants one of the pink Hell Elks hoodies like Jill has.
All right. Speaking of pink, it's time.
yes.
Oh,
for a
look at
slice
that.
of pie.
And yes, I've been to the pie hole in Los Angeles.
And this was
So,
back in
yay.
the mid '80s, so it's a completely different thing than what you're thinking.
So cool. This is, as we talked about last week, with the release of the Raspberry Pi 4, a new Raspbian operating system based on the forthcoming Debian 10 Buster has been released. Yay!
Why does it look like a murder wiener?
Because it is.
Because it's named after that dog from Toy Story, as all of Debian distros are named after Toy Story characters. And Buster comes with many updates, performance improvements, and a more modern UI. And what's really cool, it has been released slightly in advance of the official July 7th Debian Buster release to accommodate the Pi 4's open source OpenGL video driver that is now default and was developed using the most recent version of Debian. The Raspbian desktop environment has a nice new UI theme that is cleaner, more modern, and more simplified. And there's a new screen capture tool to accommodate the Raspberry Pi 4's multi-monitor support. Yay! You can run two 4K monitors on the Raspberry
At
Pi
30.
4. At 30 frames per second, yes.
Have you
Yes,
ever
but it's
have
still-
you seen a mouse cursor at 30?
Oh, yeah.
It's bad.
It's bad enough where you take a picture of it and you send a video to somebody or you ring somebody and you're like, come here, look
Yeah,
at this.
you can see the, yeah.
It's
But the
adorable.
point is you can run multi-monitor on the Raspberry Pi,
You can,
and
just
that's awesome.
Maybe you don't want to plug the, I don't want to give anybody false solutions. I'm waiting. Hey, add a fruit. Call me or get it back in stock. I have an alerts out on the internet for the 4 gig
Mhm.
model.
The
because
4 gig version, yeah.
I want to try
Yeah,
to build one of these
it's-
Opti boxes.
And that's like the big one. It's like, ooh, 4 gigabytes. And it's
Mhm.
got a new SoC with an improved GPU. So it's got all of that performance. So how do we put more strain on the already struggling Raspberry Pi? Well, we enabled GLX out of the box. Because if you've ever played with the Raspberry
Mhm.
Pi, you'll know that the default driver that it loads, it doesn't do any OpenGL acceleration. So it is as low power as it'll possibly get it.
Mhm.
Now, with the new version of Raspbian, out of the box on the Raspberry Pi 4, it enables the GLX drivers.
Yay!
Finally.
Yes.
So
I would have made
you,
the argument that the Raspberry Pi
Yeah.
3 was powerful enough already for that, but yeah.
You have a B3
Yeah.
or A. You have an A3.
I have an A3A.
Mm-hmm.
All right, booting off of because the new Pis have USB 3.
Yep.
Do you still have to burn a permanent fuse to make it boot off USB now?
Burn a permanent fuse?
I'm talking about something neither of these people. You're going to hear two educated guesses, and that's the best you can do.
Yeah.
I didn't boot this one off the USB because I prepared the SD card on the laptop.
Yeah,
and-
SD cards are not. You're just buying SD cards to watch them burn.
Actually,
Yeah.
this is one of those turbo SDA U3
Mhm.
cards that have a max write speed of like 100 and something megs per second.
Okay, now let me pause at this. On a scale of that and USB 3.
Yeah, USB 3 still
Yeah.
faster.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the point being is you could boot or you can boot, and that's how you would set it
Yes.
up to boot off of like an SSD if you want to have it plug into USB too on the old ones. I don't know. I've seen the videos, man. They exist.
Oh yeah.
But the only way to get it to set up is
Mhm.
you have to send a command that tells the Raspberry Pi to like do that, and you can do it once apparently. So
Yeah.
that's what I was curious about.
Yes. No,
I'd
very
never tried
true.
that.
I think with the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, you didn't have to do that because I do remember just booting off a USB, but with the older versions, I believe you do.
Mm.
But I need to check that as well because I've only done it once.
That I look forward to experiencing all the ins and outs and what it can do. And yes, Chibs, that's really the only use I could see for having two mini HDMI ports. It's like, well, when you break the first one, you'll be more careful with the second one.
Aw.
Worst case scenario, it's got gigabit Ethernet, so SSH-X. Huh? All right. Clippy's older brother went to university, got a job. Now he's a mid-level executive.
Yeah, pretty much, and he talks in corporate speak a lot, and he's your corporate companion. Yes, Clippy's big brother is a talking suitcase that you too can make yourself with a Raspberry Pi and a power bank, an external USB speaker, some felt furniture pads for the irises on the eyes.
Ornament bowls.
And a popsicle stick to get the lid to open and close to simulate like he's talking. So the creator of this monstrosity, which looks absolutely adorable, is it's parody. It's basically parody. He wanted to really have something that looks corporate and spouts corporate nonsense at you.
Yeah. I love the 80s working music.
He decided to basically give it some lines, and this is the first time I heard about ttsmp3.com, which you type something, you hear it, if you like it, you can download the mp3 of it. Well, I didn't know about that, and I'm pretty sure most people where I work don't know about that, so things will happen. Is what I'm saying.
Hey man, it's Python, so what else? I don't know. I can't make anything like this because I would just sit around feeding it mayonnaise.
Look, it's a suitcase. You could probably fit, what, like 3-4 liters of mayonnaise into it?
No, you spoon feed it.
Well, I had thought of another use for this. This is your office space corporate companion. Or maybe it's a snarky version of the internet box from the IT crowd. It could be the internet.
And whenever it opens his mouth, a couple of them fly out.
I mean, some people like to live a little. And, you can put an EpiPen in there. I mean, don't be a total monster.
I guess if you wanted to, you could still use it as a suitcase, but no.
All right.
The point here is to have something that's completely useless, far too big, and all it does is spout nonsense. Kudos.
Well done. Okay, maybe you know of something that is far too big, completely useless, and spouts nonsense, and you want to tell us about it.
Hello.
We have some thoughts, hints, allegations. You're a tiny little thing, child. Tell us about it. Give us some ideas, projects. Maybe you want to come on the show. Tell us about what you have going on. How do they do that magic moon?
Well, there's a spell book you can buy that lets you send telepathic messages to whomever you'd like. But the best way to get in touch with us.
All right, you're in England, dude. You got to tap out on the witchcraft thing. Not a good track record.
Salem 2020. What?
You suck at geography, baby.
And this is news. How? Well, if you'd like to let us know how much I suck at geography, go to LuxGameCast.com, fill out your name, your email, your subject, and the message that you'd like to send our way, and make sure you pick Lwdw from the little show box. So once you have that, feel free to hit that submit button, and as long as your email clears, as long as your email clears, we will probably feature your thing right here, right
Think
now.
about it. We'll
Like
give it a mention. I will say, be very careful though. And not don't be somebody I should publicly shame who's a game developer, because I get logs because we use a service to it. And I was like, hey man, is this spam? If it's not spam, come on through. If it is spam, it's like denied. And they were persistent, even though it was like, do not copy and paste a press release because a bunch of links is going to trigger the spam golem. They were at it for a good 15 minutes, Pedro.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it doesn't work. Oh, it doesn't work.
Yep.
Oh, it doesn't work.
I feel bad, but I didn't say, it's like, you know what? No, we're good. Send us a message. Leave us a note on Patreon on the post on that. We'll get back to you because you're bosses, and YouTube. That's the thing too. All right. We got a little bit. I fear, nay, it is my duty to report someone was in fact wrong on the internet.
Okay, this comes to us from Mere PPC in chat. Last week, Pedro said the Pocket chip had no Wi-Fi. Note, at the time the chip came out, there was no Raspberry Pi Zero out. It was just a few weeks away and had just been announced it was coming when the Kickstarter ended. Yes, this means the chip also predates the Pi Zero W, which killed most of the interest in the chip. To point out the fallacy of Pedro's statement, I have linked a picture of the chip I did an unboxing of for Linux Gamecast. Jill has what used to be my Pocket chip.
Yep.
Yes, and I sure do.
And
actually-
apparently the chip has a combo Wi-Fi and Bluetooth
Yes.
thing on it. So yes, I was wrong about that.
See, if you're accustomed to like not caring, someone's like, you're wrong. You're like, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I didn't lose any. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that.
No, it's no, that's a fair call out. And fact of
Yeah.
the matter is, the chip is now what's the word for it? Dead.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, that's
deprecated.
what's different? It's not deprecated. They went bankrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they straight up just
Died. Yeah, fire.
The So, what are the odds of that chip that you were given, Jill, being not absorbed into your horde? Do you have any idea where
It
it's at?
already was.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I
I just
totally
ha-
know where it's at. I was like, go get it then.
Yeah. Actually, it's in the hall right now.
Why is it in the hole? It's not a dog. It doesn't need walks.
Yeah.
But it was thirsty.
You gotta keep it
So
out
I put it
during
in a
the show so it
vase.
doesn't bug me. Beautiful people, we gotta get out of here. Thanks for joining us live. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime, stop in a little Discord or IRC, which is all tied in, and say hi. All right? Sounds good.
Bye.
Maybe. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Ooh, all right. I waited a little long on that. There we go. Boom. That's it. That's me.
That's me.
That's
a
Pedro.
not me. That's a not
And
me.
that's a Jill.
Beautiful.
Yay.
Right there.
Our
Fox,
executive
Azure,
producers.
Atomic, Mike Sheep, Overrap, Drummer 7, all these. Damn it.
Those are all of the awesome people that
And our
basically
producer.
made this show, because Lwdw would not be coming to you right now, or, you know, leaving you right now, if it weren't for these people. They're all crazy. And I love them.
We love you, chat room. Aw, you guys are awesome. And thank you again, Mike G. And Kresny.
Yep. Mike G is just running away with Frank's,
Yes. Fine, upstanding cannibals wall.
With Frank's what,
thank
pervert?
you.
We love you.
Bye.
And scene.
Cool. All right.
Yay!
Nope. The only official chat we have is IRC and Discord.
Orin started that one.
Oh yeah.
Which is cool, man. I mean,
Mhm.
that's well, that's kind of my thing, man. We've had it's the Linux. We talk about Linux. You have to have it's like in the bylaws. It's like, are you doing a Linux-based podcast? You need an IRC. I'm like, all right, fine. And we have to. What gets you so fascinated, Pedro? You look.
I went to my emails to see whether or not there was news on the mouse thing, and there are not good ones. Unfortunately, the bad news is that despite being a wired mouse, Corsair are using the new protocol that we don't have full support for yet. It will probably be a while before we get it working. I think they'll be switching most of the new devices to it going forward, so we'll eventually have to support it. That said, can you please run sudo ushid dump and then the device identification for the mouse, and after that compile this, which is their USB string thing, and run that, and then please paste the output of all of those there. All right. I'll help.
That's polite way of saying,
Yeah.
man, ain't nobody else got one of these yet. So
No. They were announced at E3 time.
I'm just impressed that there's a human being that I know personally that had any idea there was a mouse announced at E3. Like, whoa. How do you even come across this?
I get them on the Google
Do you
because
have Google alerts for durables?
Yeah, I don't have Google alerts. I just go to the Google app,
Well, the news
like the
thing,
Google
yeah.
Now thing,
Yeah.
and I scroll, and I scroll,
Oh,
and I
no.
scroll, and I scroll, and I scroll.
I have mine programmed. I have like the favorites that it does the search on every morning, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
let's see
Yeah.
what the news is.
And if I see an article, it's like, oh, ambidextrous mouse from Corsair. All right, let's read that. And it's starting to pick up on my tastes now. It's an organic growth thing.
All right, you say so, but well, if violence doesn't solve your problem, you're not using enough. Now, you might not like the end result of it, but their argument is to be made. Yes, if there's only one party remaining, there's not a problem.
Mhm.
Not a suggested course of action, but yeah. See, this is like the RGBs, and I have the most basic G500S Logitech mouse that I've replaced like the left micro switch 3 times in. Yeah. Could you imagine trying to keep track of what Pedro? Well, it's probably like the exact same things every day, though. It's Pedro.
What?
I'm talking about you. You're not paying attention.
No. I'm currently going through the things to see if I can just give them that directly.
Just make
Oh,
stuff
cool.
I
up,
think I
man.
can.
Yeah, I'd found out about it because of the tech podcasts, other tech podcasters that I watch.
See, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't listen to anybody that talked about a fucking mouse. I'd be like, nope.
I think
Can't
it
do
was, yeah, Paul's Hardware and Bitwit.
PC.
It's since I am, a left-handed mouse user.
You pay attention to that.
Yeah, it's like there aren't many high-end or high-ish end ambidextrous mice.
High end. You just need something. You just need a keyboard, man. Need a joystick.
Even joysticks have. The last joystick my dad bought, it had like the little thing
Nope,
with
this is going to have a
another
big button
analog
and you
stick.
can operate it with a straw I'm going to hook up to you.
It had like a little analog stick, but it was on the left side of the joystick, which meant I couldn't actually hold the joystick because my hand would have to be like this.
Use your flippers. Quit complaining.
So yeah, no, everything is ergonomic nowadays, but I think the definition seems to be a bit lost because ergonomic just means made for the right hand.
Ergonomic also
Yeah.
means made for ants. I mean, it took me forever to find a drink mug that could hold 2 liters. Which is empty. Left-handed. See, I'm left-handed. I also don't have any feeling on my left hand. I'm hard mode all over, baby.
Aw. Yeah, I always preferred ambidextrous.
Well, try
mice.
that again. Take 2. I'm not letting you get away with that one.
Okay, I always preferred ambidextrous.
All right. Third strike and
Too
you're
many
out.
syllables there, Jill. Too many syllables.
There's not
It's
a
only got like 3.
There's not a number 7 in that word. I checked.
Ambidextrous mice.
Still mad raps. Ambidextrous. Yeah, there's no B in it.
Well, there is one B in it.
There's
not
one
two.
B, ambidextrous.
No.
Ambidextrous.
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 All right. Now we're just making up diseases.
Dextrix.
I prefer those mice because they fit my hand better. Small hands.
But yeah, no, this is good. It's means I get to help, with
Yeah,
actually providing support for the thing, which is brand new hardware. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So thank you very much, Mike G. I will put it to very good use. I have a sneaking suspicion that the moment this works, this Rokat Kova is going to live on Nori's desk.
Cool. Yeah, I've used the mouse with no problem on the left. In fact, I've used it for drawing on the left. Not a problem. Steven's left-handed, but he uses a right-hand mice.
Yeah, most left-handed people tend to use
Yeah, the right.
the
'cause
mouse
that's
on
what
their
they
right
have
hands.
Have
Yeah,
it work
it's
and whatnot.
What
yeah.
It's what laid out in front of them. It's how they learn how to use it. Thing is, I started to play computer games when I was very young, and my mom is also left-handed, and she uses the mouse on her left hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always
So-
asked Steven about that, and he goes, oh, right. He's just used to it on the right. But
Yeah.
I think at home, he'd probably like it having it on the left, but wanted it.
Yeah, before my little brother was born, my dad was the only one that used the mouse on the right hand.
Mm. Mhm.
So yeah, the mouse was always on the left side.
Talking up a storm, aren't we?
We were, yes. We were talking about how I actually like those mice because they fit my hand better. And that's what I used for years was the Logitech one, that it was just your classic Logitech arced mouse, and it didn't matter which hand you had it in. So
Yeah. I use the wireless Logitech, and I have like 7 or 8 of them that I Frankenstein together until I got this. I got to the point where like finding parts for that mouse, you were paying like $200 for a busted one.
yeah.
Cloudflare, are you working yet, buddy?
Nori was having issues with Instagram just before we started the show, so I'm guessing still not up to par yet.
You know, it's not
No.
immediately erroring out on our dashboard right now, so it's progress. Semi-ambidextrous, man? What are you, a trucker?
Steve has been.
Yeah, I pretty much do everything with my right hand except write, but then I think like, how often do you write?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Right.
Signatures. Did those count as writing?
Yes.
You mean when I wave my tablet at the pay thing?
You wave your tablet, you wave your hand at the tablet. See, now I'm gonna get Vin.
Remember I was telling you sometimes they don't land, but man, she goes off in her own little direction. It's one of those situations where the rest of her are like, what just went on there? Definitely got to wave your tablet around. NFC. Signatures. When was the last time you had to sign something?
When I opened my bank account. But
Taxes.
a year and a half ago.
Taxes.
Look at the RGBs.
Yeah,
Look.
I gotta put my John Hancock on those taxes to get money back.
I clicked the send button.
Yeah. Well, we do it through a tax company.
Yeah, you guys are hipsters, man. You know, I want to kill some trees and pay taxes. Multicolored gerbils, dude. Nope. Couldn't do it.
That's part of the reason why I want to get the software bits working, so I can have a single color and just leave it at that.
Is off a color? I can fix it.
But yeah, what I really want is to set the same button layout that I have on the Rocat, which is E, F, R, Q, and the little middle button here that usually changes the DPIs is a space bar. Yep.
Weirdo.
Lacking fingers.
Yeah, fingerless weirdo. All right, that doesn't have any...
That's the thing. If I was playing, you know, with the mouse on my right hand, yes, my thumb would hit the space bar and I'd be playing with WASD, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So, whatever nubbins are left of my fingers are all over the directional arrows, right control and right shift, the numpad 0, numpad 1, numpad 4, delete, and then page down. Those are my quick keys.
I don't see how this is tied into you being a weirdo.
Aww.
Listen, man, I'm a weirdo.
I mean, you started this whole thing on the internet where people talk about a communist operating system, so...
Yes.
We all have our quirks.
Confuse weirdo with glutton for punishment. Those are two different devices.
Ven is our vampire.
There's a lot of Venzikism going on.
Yeah.
Like I said, glutton for punishment. But I mean punishment.
Punishment, yes.
But it's good.
Steve Hesbin will help with that.
Again, Jill, it all goes back to at least he's making an effort. That's what I appreciate. I can respect somebody trying. You don't have to be great at it. It's just the effort that goes into it.
Spider-Man, old school make.
Dude,
cool.
I had to pull something from a CVS. Was it CSV or CVS?
CSV.
CSV, yeah. I had to type it out. Just the
Comma separated value.
Yeah.
The other day, it was like, I didn't realize that that's still an active thing. But don't worry, that project's getting ready to move to Mercurial. I was like, Gah. All right.
Yeah.
No.
You know, considering, it's like, why not? Just burn it. I like Git. I understand Git because it's simple and it's easy.
Oh, you mean SVN? Okay.
Yeah. See, me and Pedro were lost. As soon as you said Git, then we figured it out. See, Ven has dyslexia too. See, CVS, SVC, SVN.
No, CSV, CVS. I was trying to. That's different from SVN, Jill. Those are two separate applications. Those are two different ways for code repositories.
CVS and SVN you can't purchase at a no. I see.
Wow.
And SVN and
I don't have to do anything.
a VC. I was gonna say you can't purchase them at a CVS drugstore, but I got confused too.
Control version system.
Yes.
Do that with a capital Z3 to enable compression. This was old school. This is late 90s. We'll be next. We're just gonna go back to just bad directory structures in FTP. No. So, what is the law that, when you put it together, is so there has to, there's like Moore's law and everything else. There has to be a law of the average of the amount of time spent detailing and filing a bug report versus how quickly it'll be closed.
Yeah.
Versus how half-assed and sloppy the bug report is and is allowed to remain open. We're going to call that Ven's law. Because that's in verse.
Yeah.
Trying to think of like the internet laws, but no, I can't think of one. No. Okay, let's do a bunch of code dumps on GitHub.
Nope. Let me check something with you, Pedro. You're going to disappear for a minute. Hold on.
Yes.
Yes,
Good
test
reminding.
Yeah, thanks for
Make it-
reminding me, bro.
This whole mouse thing distracted me.
A little bit.
Yeah, test man will make a Wikipedia page for Ven's law.
Picked up the bridge and
Ooh, spaghetti code.
Not to walk on all fours. That is the law. Coleslaw plus vinegar. Ven's law. Steve husband. Ven's law.
Yep, that straight up broke Jill. I don't know. What did you want to test, Ven?
I'm testing it right now, sweetheart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can hear me, so that's a good test.
Yes.
Okay, that goes there. There you go. They have the necessary descriptors that they asked for. Hopefully that'll work.
Ah.
Tune also. I'm
Tuning.
preparation for living that pipe wire lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
Gotta see if I can make something work a certain way. Visual node-based editing, man. It lets artists think they're programmers.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm making things work by dragging stuff around.
Hey man, I don't knock it. It's great. It lets people do other
Oh, they're
stuff,
wonderful.
but it does get
Yeah.
cute when they're like, "Oh, you gotta understand how the nodes." I was like, "Sweetheart, it's drag and drop. All right, it's code blocks. I got this. Don't worry about it."
Yeah. When it's hard is when they're like 100 deep.
That's because you're trying to program visually.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to try you with an also loop jack.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not, because that just ate poo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Scott, true that. Yeah, it's really, oh boy. We use them in animation applications as well, node-based editing and editing apps. It's been around for years, actually, since the 80s, with Alias introduced us to node editing. And then it became popular on programming languages.
I'm only getting audio, but I'm getting audio.
Yeah.
No video?
You're not going to get, probably not going to get any video, because I think Chrome is like, yeah, I've had enough of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the audio sounds. It does indeed sound.
Yeah. Yeah, Scott, I love blueprints. Yeah, it's great.
Now we're done experimenting on Pedro. We're going to experiment on Joe. This is the advantages of having two boxes. I can screw something up to 4 times.
Yes. Maybe. Scott, I'll be honest. I watched your streams because you have a soothing voice.
You have very true.
Oh no, I only watched it because of that luscious beard.
It's like the very calm, like I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm going to put this over here, and this is going to work this way.
Yeah.
And then they're really excited. It's working. Ooh. Nice.
Yeah, never been that mode.
No, that was really fun watching his chess game develop. And I love the music he played too. Made it really fun. And the fact that you did it on stream, showing how you're developing a game on
Scott, you
live.
have the branding. You have the branding down already.
Legit. Okay.
When Dave and Nathan start telling dad jokes to each other and I'm sitting off to the side, it's like, yep, now I have like 3 different kinds of cancer.
Now we're going to try to. This is not going to work. If this works, I'm going to be like, huh. All right, here's the hard mode, Pedro. Hear me out.
Okay.
Firefox and WebRTC. Firefox extended life support version. Compiled with
Okay.
Jack.
Okay.
YOLO.
Okay. All right. Why ESR though?
Because I'm a fucking monster, Pedro.
It's like, okay, Firefox with Jack, but okay, all right. It is the least likely to change. I get that.
Initial. Let's pull that.
Okay.
That's not gonna work.
Well, Scott, it's like working from home. You set your schedule, and you don't need to, lose all of the Friday. Just take an hour, or 2, if you can afford. Wow.
Told you that wasn't gonna work.
Is that Nextcloud video conference thing this an alternative to
There
Google
you are.
Hangouts yet? Oh, we can hear Jill.
Yeah.
Yay! Yeah, I had to close Chrome too and reboot it. Restart it.
You need to get to bed early? You people in your sleep. The Nextcloud. I don't know. The next thing we're going to be attempting is Transwarp Jack. Direct Jack connection from here to Canada using the CELT codec for WAN transmission. So Jordan's interface will be through the magic of ether noodles and fiber optics tied
That would be
directly
cool.
into Jackbox.
Okay.
Very cool.
We'd do it with Pedro, but Pedro's like, nah, man, I don't want to.
I mean, I'm willing to try.
You have used laptops to buy.
Well, yes.
Can't be wasting your money.
But yeah, no, I have been very good with not buying old laptops because, well, Sunday there's a big Ryzen 3000 coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going
Yes.
to wait I'm going to wait for the reviews. I'm going to wait to see. It's like, okay,
I
how does
like
it work
this. I'm
on
going to wait for the
Linux?
reviews, then I'm still going to buy it, but I'm going to wait for the reviews to come out.
I mean, if the reviews come out and say, yeah, no, just get a 2700X, I'll just get a 2700X.
Nah, you won't.
But yeah, if the reviews do turn out and they end up confirming what we've already heard and read about the people who broke the embargo, if that holds, yeah, it's pretty good.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. It'll be a nice birthday gift for myself, I guess.
There's going to be the only downside is I can already sense the screeching of people. Like X, Y, and Z won't work on my B350 motherboard from 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
1 star. Couldn't overclock it to 5 gigahertz.
Yeah, I will try overclocking it, but I have a sneaking suspicion it won't go so well.
Night Arthurian.
5.
Arthur,
9 o'clock, man. It blows my mind. More power to you.
it's like 11. Where he is.
What's it? 10 o'clock now?
Yeah.
11 o'clock. Blows my mind. I can... Sounds like a thing. I gotta make a show. Pedro, you do the show. I'm just gonna upload it. Google Drive.
Okay, so
See, Pedro's
need
gonna
it
screw up.
by-
He's gonna give me the parameters, which I will follow. Now, I don't need it by any particular time. It's people at home want to watch it. I can go chill out, man. I can go see Spider-Man.
Oh,
you know, if I didn't have to be up at like 7 tomorrow, I'd take you up on that.
All right.
But yeah, right now I need to go and make dinner before Nori barges in here and kicks me in the head. It's like, where's dinner?
Nah, she wouldn't got something to eat before she came home, dude.
Probably.
Sounds like a plan. All right, it's 5 o'clock. We gotta get out of
yeah.
here. We gotta do a thing. Jill's gotta go eat Reese's Cups.
Actually, I do feel like some, but I'm gonna have lunch first.
She's gotta take that pocket chip out of the hallway because it's confused as I am. I was like, why am I in the hole?
Actually, I put it in there because I have my workbench in the hallway, and I put it there
not
so
helping the
I
case,
could
man.
play with it. Well, I that way I'll play with it.
I've never thought about putting anything in the hall. It's hard.
Yeah,
mode.
that's I don't have a very big room, and I wanted to have a separate workbench, so the hall right next to the room is really nice. So for that, and that's where I do all my building of systems and getting prepared for scale and all my I do tutorials for students sometimes there.
Beans, we're gonna bounce out of here.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone, love you.